the Beehive.
Really? Are you a part of the Beehive now?
I'm about to say, like, with this last one, I think I'm a part of the Beehive. I'm
You
about to be.
you talking about that up tempo record she just put out not too long ago?
Yes, yes. But some of the songs remind me of like 70s disco with a high frequency, positive affirmation,
Mm,
bad bitch flow. You get what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like,
I do. Yeah.
yeah, sex.
Yeah, it is sexy, most definitely. And I like the old school style of music, like that retro sound when they bring it back in the newer records. It just sounds flawless. And
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's when they recycle the older music, it's like we crave it almost, because it's like already been instilled in us as kids.
Right, 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 right. Yeah.
Like I love when people sample Michael Jackson music. I love when they sample Marvin Gaye music and just all of those classics from the earlier days. I think Marvin Gaye was like the 60s and then Michael Jackson was, the 80s. So like for us growing up, we had our parents or our older brothers and sisters, they would be playing this music and we haven't heard it in what like 20 years now. So when a new artist comes out like Beyonce, well, not that she's a new artist, but you know, she's putting out current music, right? When she puts out records, it's just like refreshing to hear. And then on top of that, she's just so good. She's probably the most talented artist out there.
Yeah. See, for some of us, it was like Saturday mornings. You was cleaning up. You was listening to the old schools while your mama was yelling at you, telling you get your ass up, start watching them cartoons, put that cereal up, or do them dishes. You get what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
I don't know about you, but Saturday mornings was work for me,
Oh,
like dead early. You know what I mean? So like we always had music as far as like that's what motivate me more than anything. So when
mm.
I'm like even when I'm shooting the models, I always put on like something motivating to bring out what you feeling in the moment. You know what I mean? It just adds. It adds.
I'm from the Bay Area, right? And like it's very musically inclined. And so like everything that I do, I'm the same exact way. Like I have to have music playing. If I'm cleaning, gotta have music playing. If it's
Right.
morning time and I'm having some coffee, I gotta have music playing. I sometimes even do karaoke in the morning. I'm so serious, man. Like I don't know what it is. It's just, like it sets the tone and sets the vibe. And for me, Saturday mornings it wasn't exactly like a work time for me. Saturday mornings for me, when I think of like my childhood, was more like play, have fun, watch cartoons. But it was definitely a vibe because like a lot of the good cartoons would come on Saturdays. But now,
And don't forget wrestling. Don't
oh
forget
yeah,
wrestling. After all the cartoons, what came? And you listen, I have been on this big. I don't know if you've seen this show called Heels.
I have
Heels.
not seen Hills. Tell me about it.
Oh my God. It's a show about some wrestlers and this guy and his brother has this big gym and they have like this small town that is like the Christ is the wrestling. And so they have this gym where the gym actually had performances like the WWF and they fight against each other and it's like the behind the scenes of that. So
Mm.
I'm doing a shoot soon with some girl wrestlers. Like we're trying to get our costumes and everything together. I love doing theme shoots.
So, do you do a lot of photography just all around in general?
Um, ye- so I do everything for me, and I have just recently started doing photography for other girls. Like I have a set of angels that I'm mentoring, and I did photography for a couple of other models, but it's all been recent. And I've always been into photography and videography. Like before I got into foot fetish, I just never did it as as a means to make money. I'm like that photo person in the family. Like when you out and it's like, here, get my picture. Like I could take everybody pictures.
Yes, yes. I could totally relate to that too, actually, because I'm the same person. When it comes to like good photos. Like not that we're like me and Queen were like trying to gloat. I don't think it's that. Like I think it's
Right.
just that like that natural like when you look at the photo as you're taking it, like you can envision how it's gonna look when it comes out, right?
So what I used to tell people, because I have like, because I used to feel like, dang, can't nobody take my pictures. You get what I mean? Like
Mm.
nobody can take my pictures the way I want my pictures. And it used to be like, dang. But what I used to start telling my friends and family, like when you look at the screen and something don't look right, see me as you love me. See, look at it. You get what I'm saying? So when I look at when I'm looking at that frame, I'm
Hmm.
looking at what I love about it from the jump before I even snap.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like I don't
Yes.
never want to take a bad picture because I I want I want no matter who's in my camera to look good. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I relate to that so much. Sometimes people actually get frustrated with me when I'm taking pictures because I'm telling them like, no, 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 do this. Oh no, no, no.
Right, right,
Turn
right.
to the right a little bit. They're like, just take the picture. I'm like, no, like you gotta do it right, you know?
Yeah. Or from like from this angle, I need to turn the camera around and like just giving them a fancier pose because everybody can do the little poke your butt out or you
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? Like, but I always want it to be a little extra, a little different. And I want the poses to match their personality and who
Mm,
they are, in the moment.
absolutely. What would you say your favorite pose is personally?
Are we talking about feet now?
I'm talking about whatever you want to talk about.
Ah, man. I was just talking about this with someone else, and they told me their favorite pose was thumbs up. The thumbs up. Let's see.
Yeah, let's take a look. Oh, you got nylons on too right now.
Am
So that's
I
the
doing
thumbs
it?
up. Right there. Yeah,
Thumbs up.
yeah.
Am I doing it? Okay.
That looks
I
like
feel
thumbs up.
restricted in these eyes. But I guess my favorite pose would be, to show off my arches. I think. Let's see.
Yeah, you do have some very high arches. Very nice. I saw that when I was scanning through your IG. I was like, she has some pretty intense arches.
Yeah. So like kind of that on your heel, showing arches. That's like always my favorite.
I love that. Yeah, that is very nice right there. I love when the arch is that curvaceous. I think most guys do though. Like I think for like guys who are foot guys, when they see soles that they love, and then also that arch is there, it gives it that more, I want to say maybe feminine look, you know?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, me myself, I normally don't talk about like my preferences and stuff, but like the arch is hot, very hot. Fuego.
Yes. Now listen, you know who I find that the shoe models always show them arches and I have a bunch of them on my timeline. I follow a lot of women. Um because I don't know. I think over the years I've only been a foot fetish for about 4 years now, but over these 4 years, I've grown to like appreciate other women's feet.
Oh, I could only imagine. Would you say that you yourself have a fetish yourself?
Um, I'm gonna say what all of us say. We have a foot fetish for ourselves, but I can appreciate another woman's feet. Definitely, I'm not into like being intimate with another woman's feet,
Mm.
but I could see the beauty in other women's feet, not
Yeah.
just mine. So like when I see things, and I don't have a shame. Like if I see something I like, I'll be like, "Ooh, yes, yes, girl, this, that, these shoes, them stockings, like anything." I'm very complimentary and like, yeah, girl code.
Well, it's girl code, but it also seems like that you know that that's the code in general because even with us both being podcasters, you having a podcast, me having a podcast, you had no shame in showing love and support to a whole other podcast, and I think that actually speaks volumes because a lot of times, oftentimes, people when they see that somebody's doing work within the same genre, they get they put up a fence and they get really competitive and they feel like it's you versus them or them versus you or whatever the case may be. And that's never the case. It doesn't have to be the case. And I think like collaborative efforts, support, showing love to one another, there's so much power in that.
Listen, you say it again and preach. No, just in our community, period, right? I feel like our community is already kind of, I don't understand why, but taboo, right? And so we are put against each other anyways because society says that foot fetish is weird. And so for me, I always want to build the community in a positive way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Show them that there's so many different ways for this to go. Because with feet, there's a million other personalities, right? And so you got a podcast, I got a podcast, but I'm gonna do it the best that I can. You can do it the best that you can, and if we can merge, it's always gonna be
It's
superior. You get what I'm saying? It's gonna be dope.
is most definitely going to be dope. It only makes things stronger for both platforms.
Right.
And in giving each other power and giving each other just empowerment in general. I think that's the word that I want to use. Is like it's only going to make things stronger. It's going to build towards a stronger community. It's going to normalize things much more, and it's not going to alienate the community more than it already is. So I mean, honestly, you're nailing it when it comes to saying all those things. This has to happen. This has to happen, and people have to see people just talking about it and enjoying each other's presence.
I think one of the main things, like with the people around me, it was when the more I learned, the more I could teach them, right? And it was like the more it was normal for me, the more it was normal for the people around me. And then they like shit, yeah, my kids be like, my mom do foot fetish. They say it like it's bragging rights. But no, seriously. At the end of the day, when it's normal for you and you can show other people that it's normal, it builds the community. Kind of like how, I don't want to say this wrong because I know they're gonna give me, it was the LBGQ. I don't know the rest of the letters,
But
but
yeah.
they come together and it made kind of like social media, other social medias. When you look at branding or marketing, they have a lane for them.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't get their pages taken. You get what
Mm,
I'm saying? Like they don't get their videos muted. They like they have a whole community that stick together. And if we as a foot community stuck together like that, we could have a whole lane because foot fetish is the number one fetish in the world.
yeah.
We should have our F up there. To be honest.
Ooh. Wow. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And especially if they're trying to argue a case for people who like like the younger people. Like they're trying to give them an acronym within the LGBTQ and whatever other letters they got now. But they're trying to give them a letter, and that's wild to me. So if those people that like younger people are more protected than the people in our community, that's that's saying a lot about the platforms that are demonetizing us, that are muting us and deleting pages and what have you. Like, wow, that's a great point right there.
Yeah. Think about it though. I was like, listen, we need a flag. Like, where's our stuff?
Mm,
but because it's so much distance in the community between, you got your fans, you got your models, you got your photographers, you got your podcasters, then you got, the people that's in it for the sessions, the people that's in it for the art, the people that's
mhm,
for just the money, or the people that's in it, everybody has to have a medium or a center,
mhm,
have that as a community. And because we don't have that center, we're all divided.
mhm. Yeah, and it definitely doesn't have to be that way. And if everybody just kind of understands that everybody plays a different role and everyone has respect for each other and understands what their role is, then that's cool. And some people are going to have the role of the people that everybody dislikes as well, and that's okay too. But it is what it is. But
Right.
you make a great point though, because you know us as a community, just as a whole, like, man, we're really building something that I don't even know if we all understand what it is yet. Like I think me and you kind of understand from like a media perspective what role we play in a community like the FFC.
You're right.
But as far as just everybody to be on the same understanding as a collective, I think that it's probably going to take some work and take some years, but it's only evolving and growing into something that is probably going to be really huge. And you see it a lot more in mainstream media too now.
I don't think it's gonna take no whole bunch of years. Let me tell you why. Number one, you just said it. You said it's in the community. When you see these big time um, social media influencers, starting to include feet way
Oh yeah.
more. You
Oh
see these big ones because they see that the foot community is coming. They already at the top, so they see what's moving. And you
yeah.
hear them talk about it all the time. You hear these brands really looking for foot fetish influencers that really aren't all about, and I hate to say it, but like super over the top sex,
Mm-hmm.
because they want that person to be marketable, brandable, and come with a community. And so if you got 10K, 20K, that's brandable
Right.
in a whole nother market. But most times we're tricked into believing that sessions is the top of the tier of foot loving content. I like to call it.
Hmm.
It's foot fetish, but I like foot loving. You know what I'm saying? Like foot
Yeah.
loving content. When you putting that out there and you see some of these people getting 30,000, 50,000, 100,000 views, they're getting paid by Instagram.
Yeah.
They're getting paid by Facebook. What do you
Absolutely.
think will happen when these companies like Victoria's Secret just let us come in and do a whole shoot and they dress
Yeah. No, that would be huge.
it?
Victoria, like, yeah. That's possible too, and that's very possible, and I think it's next, because you're right. Like, say Victoria's Secret, a brand like that, were to see what's going on in this community, and maybe they create some kind of line of stockings or nylons or what have you, or whatever the case may be.
I mean, I get branded deals. I got Glamory. Glamory has
Mm,
these stockings, and I'm doing a shoot for them. So I've had some branding opportunities within myself because I
yeah.
don't really do sessions, and so and I do the content, but I was like, okay, what other ways can I generate an income
Hmm.
without having to slaughter the community? You know what I'm saying? With how much my prices is. Don't get me
Right.
wrong, my prices is not cheap either, but I'm worth it. You know what I mean? I really put the edits down. But anyways, besides all that, I look for other branding opportunities. So like I started a game, a Soul Speak game of
Nice.
cards. I got some products that I'm working on. I got a foot glaze. So it's like no, I wanted other women to know like yes, sessions is dope. If you find like some guys that you can trust. I was just always scared because I didn't have, a group of somebody that could go with me or somebody
Right.
who could protect me because you're meeting a person and however you meeting them for the first time, it was uncomfortable for me. So I
Right.
found a lane. Like I was like, okay, well that can't stop me. It gotta be another way.
Yeah. Hey, well, when there's a will, there's a way. I
Right.
like that though. So you got a card game called Soul Speak.
Hmm.
Tell me more about that.
You wanna see?
Absolutely, please.
So these are my cards. Let me see.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
And they are conversational cards that you play at a game. I mean, at a party or like, like one on one with your partner, maybe to
Mm.
make it easier for her to know that you have a foot fetish,
Oh,
or with a group of friends that everybody has foot fetishes. You know what I mean? If it's the number one fetish in the world, I don't understand why
there's a
it's
lot of
one person
closeted
out the crew
foot
got a foot
fetishes.
fetish. It just
There's a
makes
lot of
it
closeted ones for sure.
definitely, definitely.
Can we go over some of the cards? Can we like kind of play right now? Is that possible? Yes.
Okay. So a lot of these games are also interactive.
Okay.
So there's one card that is like sexy dangle.
Mm,
So if you get this card, you put your shoe on and you kind of
you do a dangle.
do a dangle.
So it's kind of a foot fetish theme charades in a way.
Yeah, kind of. And if you don't want to answer, you can take a drink, I guess. So
Ah,
is guess the size of the smallest feet in the room.
mm.
So the Queenin card is pick a player to do any foot fetish activity with. And so
Oh
I
wow.
throw parties and we play these games at the parties.
That's that sounds so fun. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like I
I'm
need that
proud.
from
I'm
brothers.
very proud
You
though.
should be proud. No, honestly, you should be proud. That sounds very fun right
Yeah.
there. I think everybody in the community should have those cards right there.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Hit the
Oh yeah,
bomb. Let's
yeah.
hit the bomb.
So where do you sell those?
So right now I'm selling them on exquisitesouls.com. That is my website for the foot party, and I sell like toe rings and anklets on that site. I'm building my soulspeak.live site. So that's where the cards will be homed on that site. So they'll be kind of separate.
Hmm. That sounds big right there. And the fact that you got these cards created before like mainstream really adopts this whole thing. Yeah. Oh, she's thinking. You think, hey, that's what entrepreneurs do though.
Yeah,
They see something that is needed. They figure out what's needed and they create what's needed so that it's there when everybody realize that they need it.
right. It's already
And
it's already been thought of for you. So come on, y'all.
yeah,
Y'all
absolutely.
come
And
get
and and that's what that is. And I think that the more people get into this, the more they're going to want to influence others to get into the world of the FFC or to, play a little bit more in that world because there's a lot of people who are also still like closed-minded about it all. Not that I think that people should like go and influence all their friends to go and be about a life that they're not about, but I think that there's some people who may not even know that is something that they're into because they never even open their mind to the possibility. Like for me, right, when I first discovered that I was into it, because it was not that long ago, right? It was accidental. I was never even supposed to have a podcast like this, to be honest. It accidentally happened. And I accidentally realized that I was into feet, to be honest.
Mhm.
And it's because I was exposed to it and the idea of it, and it made me think like, what now? Why are people so into this? And then I started thinking to myself like, like I've always kind of like appreciated nice feet, and I've always appreciated like a nice pedicure and things like that of that sort. And I would tell myself like not that I judge people, but like when I was in the dating game, right, I would like kind of look at a woman's feet and that would tell me a lot about her, right? How
Definitely.
she took care of herself.
Hmm. So for me, it's like when you look at the stats, majority of women don't know their bodies. We don't. A lot of women don't know how to have an orgasm.
Mm,
They tell you that they come, but coming in orgasm is completely different.
mm,
And when you look at foot fetish from a vibrational standpoint, your body is connected to your feet. Every part of your body is all
mm,
your organs. All your feeling is through your feet.
mm,
So when as a woman, like I had a foot fetish when I was really young. I had my kids really early. And
mhm,
so I dated a foot guy and he was controlling me through my feet and I didn't understand it. I didn't even know what was really going on, but I knew that, like, listen, I was taking care of him. You know what I mean? Like, I was going to work and coming home, and he would rub my feet. He could just rub my feet till I fell asleep. And then when we made love, it was just everything. Because he would start at my feet, but as a
Mm,
young girl, I didn't know what was going on, and
right.
so because we didn't discuss it, like he didn't talk about it, he just did it. You get what I mean? And I
Yeah.
loved it. I'm gonna say no. So it was a part of a ritual that we had, and
Yeah.
that when we broke up, it was like I couldn't orgasm again. Like every guy that I ever messed with after that just never got me there. I would have fun, of course, being intimate with guys, and I couldn't figure it out until I started researching foot fetish. And it wasn't just that. It was a couple of things. Like I wasn't breathing. I was holding my breath.
Hmm.
I wasn't breathing properly during sex to even get to an orgasm because I was holding it back. But the more I learned about feet, the more I learned about meditation, the
Mm,
more I learned about my body, I can actually kind of orgasm through my feet. And if I don't get it, because like I would never date a man that wasn't into feet because I
mm.
would never go to my highest climax without it.
Yeah. And so it took you a while to figure out that that is what you were missing all those years after that particular relationship.
Yeah, yeah. It's a years.
And then so when you like, how did you discover it again? Like, was it like spoken on? Like, was it communicated, or did it just happen and you were like, "Oh, now I
It's
know."
like so when I start so for a long time I was like celibate. I wasn't having sex and
Mhm.
I was masturbating with water. I'm an aquaphilia. I
Mm,
love to make love to water. I use the shower head. I love to swim. I love water. I love the way moist and water feel on me. So
mm.
that was my thing for like years. Okay. And
Wow.
it was like, all right, it was getting harder and harder to climax even by myself. I'm like, listen, I got to
Wow.
be the problem. I got what's wrong with me, And
Right.
I started like researching and reading, and I ran into tantra. I would have never got into all of that reading and figuring it out if I wasn't already doing the foot fetish stuff. So
Right.
I rabbit hole tantra and figured out that because I wasn't properly breathing, that
Mhm.
um I wasn't able to get reach my highest climax. And then from there, like I said, it was a rabbit hole. I started researching the rest of my body, my legs, my thighs, because I'm super sensitive when it comes to like I'm ticklish, and it's like I can turn it on and off almost, And depending on the height and of my feet, the rest of my body kind of like tingles.
Mm.
Feel it everywhere.
So, as far as tantra goes, can you explain to people who may not know what tantra is, what it is?
So tantra is a method of breathing during sex.
Mm.
So it's like sex breathing. I mean, as simple as you can put it, sex meditation. And there's different ways that tantra work before, during, and after sex.
Mm.
And for women, it's like the faster you breathe, the faster you come. For men too. So the slower you breathe, the more steady pace you hold your breath, is
Mhm.
is going to keep your orgasm from climaxing.
Wow, that's interesting. So, I was googling a little bit as you were telling the audience and the people listening what it was, and it's very actually interesting. Y'all like tantra ritual. So
And
pretty
most
much,
are like feet to head.
yeah. And so I guess a common misconception about tantric sex is that it involves wild, uninhibited sexual experiences, while tantric techniques can open you up to new sensations
Mhm.
as much as a mental practice as a spiritual one. And a lot of it has to do with breathing and meditation during sex.
During sex. And if you think about it, when you orgasm, you're in your highest form of um, kind of manifestation. So when
Mm.
you're manifesting, that is one of the number one forms to getting open the door to get anything you want is when you're in an orgasm, because now, they're saying that, your third eye is completely open. And if you're
Mm.
coming at the same time with a partner and you guys are actually doing it together, it makes it come 100 times faster.
Ever since I opened the Pandora box of me moaning during sex, I feel like it got way better. So that makes total sense
Yeah, yeah, yes. Like
because a lot of guys don't like
I
moaning.
quiet sex. I can't have quiet sex. I can't make love to you when you ain't saying nothing.
I
Now I
used
don't
to
want
not
you to
say
be able
nothing.
to talk to me like you talking to me
Right.
now. I need you to be kind of out of breath, but you need to be saying something.
Like you have to be saying something. I
Something. You
know.
got to, yeah, moan or groan, growl at me. You know, something.
She said you better summon DMX during this sexual experience. Oh goodness gracious. That's funny, but it's so real though, man. Like a lot of guys, we don't moan during sex, but like I say once I learn that it makes it so much more intimate and passionate when you do moan and you do get really into it, because I think a lot of guys they're confused about what sex is supposed to be. They think that it's them just getting a nut. But once you realize that no, like this isn't a spiritual connection with you and the woman that you're with, and that you need to be more connected in the experience itself. And maybe you don't find that when there's like casual sex with multiple partners, but when you have that one partner that you have sex with and you explore each other and you figure out what gets each other off and what is the language of the sexual experience that really communicates with one another. And by saying that I mean like trying to figure out what makes her orgasm, right? Like that's a big one. Trying to like you have to almost like speak with, well, not almost, you have to speak with your partner about what gets them off, what is pleasurable. And I think sometimes communication is lost big time.
Well, first of all, like I said, most women don't know what get them off.
Hmm.
And then most men don't know how to talk about what get women off. You get what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
it's a communication gap there. And I think that most people definitely need to talk about it. Like, that's what I attempt to do in my communication with a lot of folks. It's like, so I'm also ordained and I'm a life and fetish coach.
Oh.
So when I talk to some of my clients, I talk to them about, okay, so let me go back. One of the main people that come to me are guys who have girlfriends, love their girlfriends, and at first they come to me like, "I love your feet, I love you, I love everything about you." Da, da. But once we get to talking, it'd be like, "How can I get my girlfriend to be like this?"
Mm.
Right? And it's like, how can I talk to her about it without it being awkward? Because she'll let me play with her feet, but she doesn't enjoy it.
Right.
Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so it's like I'm playing with a dead horse. How do we get to another place with that? So they don't even be knowing how to, for one, they come to me telling me they love me because they get to live that fantasy of playing with my feet. They don't really love me. They just love the fantasy of it.
Yeah.
And they love their girls, but they don't have that fantasy with them. And so it feels like they're cheating. And I help them to kind of rationalize that and either communicate with them or communicate with their girlfriends what's needed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely. And I mean I guess if the chick wasn't into it, there may or may not be a way to change that individual, but then you got to ask yourself as a man, is that something that you're willing to accept?
Mm. I never understood like why guys would date girls that didn't like their feet, because there's tons of girls out here that love their feet, right?
Hmm.
And love to get their feet worshiped. But there's, like I said, with my angels, none of them really knew anything about foot fetish or feet or the feeling or what it feels like, what it's like. They ain't know nothing about it. In my community, I ain't gonna just say my community. In a lot of ethnic communities, sex is not a topic that you speak about in the household. You tell people like, yo, if you have sex without a condom, you're gonna get pregnant. But do
Mm,
you really talk about the pleasurable side of sex with your
mm.
parents or with somebody in your family that you trust that can teach you?
Yeah. I think the answer in most cases, in most families and cultures, is no.
Is no, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, like with the angels, I teach them about foot fetish and all that, the stuff that comes on the outside. But I also teach them about like what's happening to them when a man is worshiping your feet, when he's sucking on your toes, and you feel that throbbing sensation through your feet, or you feel that energy just pulsating and jumping around because when it's being done, if you don't know what's going on, typically when we don't know what's happening to us, we think it's weird.
Mm,
Or the more you can kind of control it and enjoy it.
mm. That's interesting to hear. I like hearing about all this because it makes me want to go and suck on my wife's feet right now. You know what I mean? Like, let me see. Let me just kind of like observe and study. Like observe and study your movements real quick. Just like let's see what that's about. I want to see if your leg shakes a little bit. On the pinky toe or something. Oh, you know what? We haven't done a foot marshal. Let's do a foot marshal and then we'll come back. We got Queenin on the podcast. Be sure to follow her on IG, Queenin Souls, and her podcast is soul.speak. So Queenin Souls is QUEENIN_SOLES. And the podcast is Soul Speak. That's SOLE.SPEAK. And most definitely press the like button, subscribe on YouTube, all that good stuff. And www.daddygoods.com is live as well. So, building blocks on there every single day. So be sure to subscribe and all that good stuff on there as well, so you can stay up to date with all the podcasts every Tuesday and Friday at 11 a.m. You did.
Boom,
So
boom.
tell me about the Angels. I don't think we spoke too much about the Angels yet.
Oh man, so I have a group of girls. I call them Queen's Angels. I have Angel, NYX, Thumper, and really those are the main three girls. I also have a couple of other girls that come in from time to time, but they have their own pages, but they like to shoot with us, and so we include them. Right now, we're doing a lot of theme shoots. I've been meeting with them at different locations, shooting, and as we shoot, we kind of discuss different topics that are foot related. So we just did a shoot at Victoria's Secret, super dope, commissioned. I was proud. I was super proud because it was commissioned. Everybody got paid,
That's
including.
lovely.
So
That's lovely.
that lovely, and the way we were treated in Victoria's Secret, that part, like they were so welcoming, so
Mm.
helpful. Like they let us stay in there for about 3 hours and just take over their whole um dressing room.
Wow. You're
Yeah.
making moves. You're making some big moves. You're
I
being really
it don't
humble.
be seeming like it until somebody else say it, but like in the moment, I just like, come on, y'all, let's do it. They be scared. I don't never be scared. Something I want to do, I'll be like, all right, I just want to do it. Let's come.
I gotta make Queen in the Puff Pod manager or something like that. She's one of the new.
I need a job. How much? How much you
She's not playing. She's like, what's up? She's like, you
pay?
don't be throwing job
I
offers
do
out
this
there.
full
Like,
time. I do this full time. Like really, I live. This is my life. It's not just something I do, in between jobs. Like I do breed dogs. I breed dogs as well. But like breeding dogs is seasonal. I do this
Mhm.
all year.
Tell me about the dog breeding. What kind of dogs do you breed?
I have XL and XXL American Terriers. They are so lovely. Blues.
Ooh,
Yeah,
wow.
big
Those
sexy
are
dog.
I bet. They got the top-notch bloodline and all that, yeah?
Yeah, we are UKC verified. We have all their
Okay.
papers, all their shots. Yeah, and we got a strong family. We have about so my daughter and I have houses next door to each other, and we kind
Mm.
of like share common land. And so I have four dogs in my house, and she has shoot right now she has a litter. So not including the litter, she has five dogs. All
Woo!
yeah.
Some real animal people for sure.
Yes. And you know something? Like, I've been wanting to do pet play, but I can't, like, how do you vet people to do that? Like, I've been trying to, like, vet people to do some pet play, but,
Wait,
I think
so
my
what
vetting
what
process
exactly is pet play?
harsh.
Like,
Like training, hand movements. So, like, so I'm in our dynamic, I am the trainer. So I
mm,
train the dogs sit, stay, paw. I train them lay down, come. Before they get to their homes, that's one of the services because we like to do emotional support dogs. And
mm.
so I'm the one that kind of trains the dogs. Well, I want to train a person, a footman. I want to
Huh.
see how that is and kind of like, yeah, pet play.
You
Tell
say,
them
"Yeah." That was that was
say.
that some North Carolina, accent just came out.
Well, I'm not originally from North Carolina. I'm
Where are
from,
you originally from?
yeah,
From where?
upstate New York.
Oh, really?
Yes, I've been in Carolina for about 4 years now too.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've never been to New York actually,
Oh,
or
really?
North Carolina, no,
Aw.
mm-mm.
See, I got to get to the West Coast so I can bring you over here, you and Mama Goods. Bring
Man,
y'all down here to the dirty South.
that is sad. I was actually just, in Georgia and Alabama, like, a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Georgia's fun.
Yeah. Yep,
I've
yeah.
never been to Alabama.
Alabama was interesting. I mean, I didn't get to do too much out there, but, just from what I seen, it was looking alright. Very, very, country, just is different, and, like, speaking with people is very different, I a
Yeah.
couple times, I've never caught myself saying, like, "Huh? What did you say? Can you repeat that?" Like, for real, like, the accent was so thick,
Yeah.
I was like, "Wow, I'm in the South right now for sure," you know?
Yeah.
So it was interesting, so going back to the pet play. So, like, you wanna get into, like, dominatrix a little bit?
Well, I do video calls and I create content that are like dominatrix type, and with my others, I kind of dominate by just because I am
Mm,
the sensual way, but I want to actually have like a training session. So like
mm,
where it's strictly that. Like there is no sex because I'm training you. You have to earn that. Like yeah. And not in a dominatrix in a so even when I guess it would be a sensual dom, right? That's what it'd be more
I
like a
don't know. I don't
because I
know.
see it as a when I hear dominatrix, I think black and latex and
Right.
spikes.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I'm still learning a lot about the dominatrix world too. It's a whole nother community is what I'm starting to realize, because I see a lot of, like they collide a little bit, the foot world and the dominatrix world, but they're still very, very separate. Like, I tuned into a few Twitter chats, that were ran by, like, dominatrix, financial dominatrix people, and, like,
Mhm.
just the whole vibe was very, very different, and interesting, to say the least. And I could tell that it's a whole nother community outside of the foot world, and they are not the same. And so I'm still learning a lot too, because I've had a few doms on, well, I don't want to do this, no disrespect, y'all, but I'm just saying, like, to separate the terms, right? I've had some doms on the podcast, and I you know i I think that there's just so much more to learn about the dominatrix world, that like I'm already like, I'm just a little bit at the tip of the iceberg,
Yeah.
rather, you know what I mean? Hmm.
Yeah. And it's so fluid. It's frequently changing because for me, like I tell models all the time, like don't get so pulled into the term, because the term can be based on whatever you are, whatever your likes are. Don't just fall into what everybody else does. Find out what it is that you do, what you like, and then do that so that your content is fluid. You are being authentic to yourself. You get what I'm saying? Like you're not following the trend of what other models are doing. That way you're not uncomfortable, or if you get asked to do something that you may not know how to do or typically do, and then it's not, you know what I mean? Like again, it's not fluid. It's not it doesn't look cohesive. And so for me, I don't like to label myself as a dom. I'm very sensual. I like to say like I'm a foot lovers advocate, or like a coach, because that's how I feel. I feel like I'm dribbling the ball and I'm passing to other people, and I want a team, like a team of people where we can change what the community has a reputation of being.
mm. I think that you are one of the smoothest people I've ever met. That's what it is. You're very smooth.
I'm gonna take that as a compliment.
Yeah, no, it is totally a compliment. It's totally a compliment. Promise, promise. Um, well, hey, so how often do you do your Soul Speak podcast?
So good news is I have a couple of apps, like how Prime and Netflix have their little apps on Roku. Well, I've been negotiating with three different apps that would like to put Soul Speak as a show and give me a slot on their app. So I have been withholding majority of my episodes, but we got episodes upon episodes. I just haven't really been dropping because
Right.
I don't know if I want to save it. Not that I don't want to. I want to save a lot of this content and put it on one of these, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to be on TV. For
Hell
one, I
yeah.
was like running around, jumping
Hell
crazy.
yeah.
I'm like, stop playing.
Hell yeah. Let me
Right.
But, all right, let me just take this moment to say, first of all, that's dope as shit. That's some dope ass shit right there. I love that. Secondly, I want to say this is why, y'all, this is why you have to empower each other, because guess what? Look at the moves Queen is making right now, right? Look
Yeah.
at the moves she's making. Why would you not want to be a part of that? Like, that only boosts the community as a whole right
Right.
there.
Right. And I have an opportunity to like with the angels, like if I do a reality segment on me, they will constantly be featured. It's
Mm,
room for me to bring in other models, to bring in other photographers, to showcase what they do. And so when I like reach out, I'm reaching out because I want to create a network of people
mhm.
that if I make it, y'all make it. You get what I'm saying? Like the
Absolutely.
more I can push through, I don't mind being behind the camera. I don't need like my heart and soul being the edits, being the videotaping of it. But in order to get there, somebody got to be on the camera. So it started with me, and now I have the angels, and I've reached out to a couple of other models and worked with other models, but to be able to put together some form of television show, and to be able to say, "Hey, community, go on Roku and check out this on this ad." Yo, it was a dope feeling, right? and then it normalizes for the people who watches it, because now they get to see it on TV, and it's not just like
Mhm,
a small little clip. Or we're not saying, oh, this is weird. We're saying,
mhm,
hey, we're a foot community, we're proud, we're a bunch of beautiful women, look
mm,
at this, look at that. It will bring some type of condolence to the community.
mm. That
I'm
makes total sense.
right.
That makes total sense right there. It's crazy, man, because like I relate with you in so many ways, and especially in the way where you want to make it happen so much too, where it doesn't even got to be about you. You're like, I'll get behind the camera, whatever. I just want to boost everybody else. Like that's what's filling your cup is helping other people.
Right. Yeah, it really does. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's not just about the money, but I
Mhm.
still want to make my money. You get what I'm
Oh,
saying? But
absolutely.
if the community goes in the direction that we need it to go in, there's going to be money for everybody. You
Yeah.
look at like shows like Love and Hip Hop. Look at show like it. So let me go back to a point you had said earlier. You was like, it might take years, and I was like, it might not take years. Think
Right.
about, and I'm gonna use this analogy. When the girl came out with the song about eating groceries, that changed the whole. It took that one song though. People had been working on it, because think about, people was eating ass before that. You get what I
For
mean?
sure.
But
For
nobody would
sure.
talk about it until it was a song that kind of was like, yeah, you're gonna eat my groceries. All it
Yeah.
takes that one thing that we don't know who might sing about, put in a movie, put on TV,
Mhm.
that just clicks for everybody else.
Yep.
And they'll repeat it. The social media just keep playing it over and over and over and over and over and over. And now foot fetish is normalized for everybody. So
Yeah.
why not be in the front of that?
Why not?
Why not? So when I was younger, it was like if you suck dick, you was the devil. Like suck it, it was like, oh, she sucked dick. Homeboy said he like somebody said you suck his
Yeah.
dick. He was just like the worst hoe
Yeah.
ever. Now
Yeah.
it's like, yo, look, I suck dick. They got classes on it. They
Right.
got like, yo, they got classes on how to ride dick. Like, yeah,
Right.
I follow some amazing people, and they do some of and it be like things you think is unconventional. They making six figures off of. It's just
Right.
how you want to brand it.
That's a good way to put it. Themes that you find unconventional, people are making six figures off of it. That's so real.
Yeah,
That's so real.
yeah.
And those are the people that are winning, like
And
for real. The people who think outside the box.
the people who think outside the box, the people who like don't give a fuck, who like, yo, this is what it is. This is how I feel. And I don't care who thinks anything different, because there's a group of people that feel like how you and me feel. They
Hmm.
just need to know where we at.
Yes.
For real.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, I think we're making steps in the right direction for sure.
Definitely. Definitely.
Pun
Definitely.
intended. Pun intended. Steps. Get it?
That.
Oh shit. Oh, shit. Terrible, my bad, y'all. Well, Queen, thank you
Yeah.
so much for being on the POF Pod. I was looking forward to this episode, and I was glad that we got connected with each other, and I'm hopeful that we do it again sometime in the future.
Heck yeah, man. I am honored, man. I was doing my research, and I was watching you and Mama Bear play with each other, and yeah, so I was like, oh my God, I can't wait till I'm on here. And look at me, I'm on here. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, you gotta let me know when there's a open spot for us on the Soul Speak podcast, the
I'm
Soul
gonna
Speak
be
show.
like, whenever you're ready, when we
I'm
can have
always ready.
part 2 on my show. I love this. I love to
I'm
talk.
always ready. I'm always ready. Just let me know, and we'll make it happen.
I ASAP.
ASAP. Well, is there anything you would like to tell the people before we got off the podcast today?
Man, listen, love each other, man. Love on each other. If you are dealing with some negativity in the community, find a way to see the positive side of things. Like sometimes it's not meant for everybody to work together, but we ain't got to be doing the most when it comes to these pages, because it's enough money and fellas out here loving on all of us. Like I just want everybody to get along. I have a dream.
It's an abundant world, and there's more than enough for everybody.
Really? Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, everybody, we'll sign on out of here. Thank you for watching and tuning in. Again, smash the like button, subscribe, all those things. Queen, don't go anywhere. Everybody, we'll talk to you next time.